Kevin Durant stands out as one of the all-time greats, particularly for his offensive capabilities in NBA history. Creating a Kevin Durant build in NBA 2K25 is your guaranteed path to getting an edge over competition in nearly every single aspect, especially when you understand how to tailor your build correctly. Today we're diving into 2 to 3 different versions of a Kevin Durant build, capturing just a small glimpse of his gameplay in NBA 2K25, which is something that is truly special this year. So before we move any further, I just want to say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. God bless every single one of you. And if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family. And comment down TG for thank God and where you're tuning in from, and I will definitely be sure to get back to you with a response. So the versatility in build creation has never been better, and with the Kevin Durant archetype, you can pretty much experiment with heights from about 6'9" to 7 feet. Now, the flexibility not only showcases the adaptability of builds and how you can pretty much approach your way to craft this build, but this is one of the significant advantages in making one of these archetypes is that his ability to handle the ball at this height, giving you a huge edge over the defenses, but that's not all, because this build has the potential to pretty much excel in all 5 areas of the build. But that's not all, because this build has the potential to pretty much excel in every facet of the game, from being an elite post scorer to a lockdown defender, being of course a sharpshooter and even a playmaker. Yet the defense is where this build honestly surprises a lot of opponents, and to be impactful like Kevin Durant, I gotta say the defense is really something that you need to pay attention to. And you know, it's also notable that when Kevin Durant was with the Golden State Warriors, he was really one of the best rim protectors of his time. And you know, some of my favorite moments from his career undoubtedly stems from the championship winning days with the Golden State Warriors. And you know, I think all around that was one of the most unique teams and a blueprint that many teams are still trying to, you know, replicate today. And it's super rare to see that kind of firepower on one team. So in NBA 2K25, the 6'10" height seems to be, you know, that sweet spot for versatility pretty much across all game modes and builds. So with Kevin Durant being around that height, I think it really shows you how important and true of a player this one can be, not only in the ones, but also any team setting as well. Now, what I've also noticed with this archetype is that you can pretty much be the primary scorer and leading your team on both ends of the floor, whether it's the defense as well. You know, this build is really underestimated on that side of the ball, and I think it's really surprising a lot of defenses that I've actually gone up against. You know, so when you play with this build, you'll feel like one of the best builds on the court and players. And my favorite mode to use this build, undoubtedly, man, I gotta say it's the 1v1. You know, this is really where you can really showcase that firepower. You know, in team settings, I can say this build is equally as fun, but you're definitely gonna be the go-to scorer for points. And, you know, you can really distribute the ball and orchestrate that offense. And there's a common misconception that taller builds can't pass or lead play. You know, this archetype really proves otherwise, and I think it brings all of the offensive tools to the table as well, from scoring to leading fast breaks, picking up assists, even making an impact on the game on that defensive side. This build is definitely going to get y'all right. So I'm curious, which version are y'all going to be making? 1, 2, or 3? You know, one of my favorite aspects of the build is going to be the variety of play styles that it actually supports. You're not only, you know, pinned to one role, so you can be a dribbler, a post scorer, the primary defender on your team. You know, the build pretty much has everything in its arsenal, and it really gives me that vibe of stretch bigs from 2K15 and also NBA 2K19. You know, those builds were pretty much nearly unguardable with the shooting, and playing with this archetype, you're gonna find games where you're pretty much simply unstoppable. And that's really the beauty about this build, is that you can tweak it to fit your own personal play style. You know, the key here is making sure that you have access to the best jump shots, bases, and releases, which this build definitely guarantees. Plus, you know, you get a variety of dribble animations available, passing styles, and also dunk packages. You know, making this build is really gonna be one of the most overpowered ones that you can do. And even if you decide to aim for some standing contact dunks just at the pro level, it doesn't require require too many attributes for this area as well. All you need is an 81. You know, this has easily become one of the best all-around archetypes I've used this year. With the offense, you know, I can say it's definitely smooth in NBA 2K25. My favorite feature of this archetype has gotta be the versatility of the offensive options, but when it comes towards post scoring, I made sure that this build does not get bullied down low and really can dominate on the inside. And if you want to make the adjustment to at least getting 85 strength on this build, that is definitely recommended. That's going to allow you to get the Great Wall takeover ability, and this is the only takeover in NBA 2K25 that gives you a plus 15 boost put towards your strength, and rarely that does enhance your post game and defensive presence. So in ranked game modes, you know, where it's really competitive, I can say 90% of the top 100 players have really prioritized strength on their builds, at least in 85 and above, and this really just outlines the importance of strength in NBA 2K25, not just for defense but equally for the offensive side. You know, with this archetype you can truly tailor it towards your own playstyle, but you know, these templates are just the start of what I think is going to be the best route to take. So if you want to see more gameplay or a part 2 of this Kevin Durant build, let's go ahead and aim to get 100 likes on this video. You know, I'm genuinely interested in hearing about your favorite moment from Kevin Durant's career, so be sure to share it down below in the comments. And I want to say thank you to all of the positive feedback on the recent videos. We're building a community here that's all about positivity in the 2K area, and none of this would be possible without you, the rich family, and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for another day and another opportunity. We're on the way to 10,000 big subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you joining me on this journey. You know, we're just getting started. There's plenty more content like this on my channel that I'm covering various archetypes and gameplay. So if there's another NBA player that you're eager to see, comment below and I'll definitely make it happen. You know, my goal is to deliver at least 5 videos for you each weekend. I'm committed to do that. So with this Kevin Durant archetype, you're set to dominate in virtually any game mode, whether it's solo play or team settings. You know, it's not just about replicating Kevin Durant's attributes and stats, but embodying everything that Kevin Durant can actually do. His scoring touch, the defensive tenacity, and really the leadership on the court, this build definitely carries it. So I encourage y'all to try out one of these builds that I'm sharing with you and share your experience down below. I want to see how it changes for y'all in your gameplay. So how does it affect your approach to the game? You know, whether you're scoring, defending, or even, you know, how you're perceived by your opponents. And I encourage y'all to experiment with one of these builds that I'm sharing with you. You know, let me know your experience down below. I'm really interested in how it goes for y'all. And for those of you who have been playing NBA 2K for years, how do you think this build compares to the past builds that we actually were able to create of Kevin Durant? You know, I truly feel like this is one of the best replications of a Kevin Durant build that you can get. And the fact that we have a variety of options, that's going to make a huge difference. One of my favorite things about this archetype is that I'm slept on constantly on the defensive side, and even more so when it comes towards scoring on the inside. A lot of people really forget that Kevin Durant can be that post scorer if you really need him to. You know, considering he isn't the strongest, you can make that happen in NBA 2K25. And if you add strength to Kevin Durant in real life, I'm telling you, that's the best player that we have ever seen in the history of the game. You know, this build is really growing on me, especially when it comes towards that offensive side. Not only can I be a post scorer if I need to be, but when it comes towards being a team player, and especially for the dribbling and passing, I am more than happy than I can be with this build. The amount of dribble animations available, especially at the height that we actually do get to be, I can say this is one of the best all-around builds, not only on the defensive side, but the offense is going to be really overpowered. Now, if you want the jump shots that I'm using in this video, I will be sure to put a pop-up card right here with a link down below in the description, so you can go ahead and check out which jumper I'm using. Even with the meta being 6'10" right now, I can say these archetypes are going to be able to compete with just that. You know, to get a small glimpse of NBA 2K15 and 19 stretch bigs is really something special that I'm seeing this year in NBA 2K25. even getting that little bit comparison and play style of KD himself. You know, I'm telling you, this is absolutely, in my opinion, one of the funnest years to play like an NBA player in 2K. The fact that we have so many animations available to us, there's no excuse to not to do so. I'm having fun with it, man. So if you have a specific player that you want to see next, be sure to let me know down below, and I'm gonna get y'all right. And honestly, I can even see the meta leaning a little bit towards more builds like this, more scoring, a little bit less on the defensive end, but still able to hold its own. That's something that I'm always aiming for. And you know, I just want to say thank y'all so much to Rich family for sticking through to the very end. God bless you. And I just gotta say thank the Lord above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. So if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you know. Smash that like button. Turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family. And last but definitely not least, with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.